Good morning. Hey, money multipliers and everybody out there in the world today. So every morning I go live Thursdays, 9 a.m. Eastern time. And I have my apparel on today because y'all, tomorrow's Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody. Take your kids out trick-or-treating. Hey, if you're still trick-or-treating, good for you. Go as long as you can. It's a fun time. So I'm actually packing up right now. I'm going to head out of town. I have some Halloween stuff that I have planned with my friends. So I'm going to go and do that this weekend. And today, all right, it's kind of like a part two to what we talked about last week, right? Last week, we really focused on business owners and how business owners can be using whole life policies within their business, whether it's they're financing equipment for their company, they're putting marketing dollars back into their business, or maybe they're doing a key man insurance, maybe they're doing a cross entity purchase between business owners, right? So if you missed last week's and you are a business owner, I would encourage y'all go back, rewatch that episode. You can go and find it on the YouTube channels on Hannah Kessler and the Money Multiplier. But today I want to focus on my people who are within the corporate world. Okay, you are a W-2 person, and maybe you are putting dollars away into a 401k, a qualified account, IRAs, Roths. Hey, is there a better way that we could be doing and using that money? Because, right, we talk about this all the time. Money is nothing more than just a means of exchange, right? That's all that money is. So all we do with money is we exchange it for the goods, the products, the services that we're buying in life. And to be honest with you, it kind of mind boggles me why people will do things with their money that they would never do with things that money buys, right? I mean, if I'm going to go put dollars away into a 401k, I'm going to have to wait until I'm age 59 and a half to touch that money just to avoid the 10% penalty. Even after that, when I do start taking the money out of those qualified accounts, I'm still going to be taxed on the dollars in there. So if you kind of put it into perspective, well, it would kind of be ridiculous for me to go purchase myself a house, a car, a wave runner, a boat, doesn't matter what it is, but it'd be kind of ridiculous for me to go purchase myself a house and then wait until I'm age 59 and a half just to move into that house, right? So why are we doing things with money that we would never do with things that money buys? So for my people who just didn't know, right? Because y'all were following the traditional thinking, well, hey, this is what my boss told me to do. He said it was a good thing. Or my coworkers, my family members, they're all telling me to max out my 401ks just because, well, that's the norm over here. I didn't think there was anything else or better that I could be doing for myself. So today, I have a guest that I'm bringing on. This is the second guest since the start of the show this year, and a lot of y'all may know this gentleman. So I'm going to bring on Mr. Jonah Dew. Jonah and his brother Jeremiah, they go by the Banking Bros, sometimes the Cash Compound as well, but definitely go and follow Jonah, Jeremiah, and see a lot of the stuff that they've been doing as well. So, Jonah, welcome to the show, my man.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. I feel honored that I am able to join you so early in your Thursday morning 9 a.m. Live stream kind of process. So thanks for coming.
No, straight up. And then honestly, it's kind of nostalgic, right? Because even the
Right?
Money Multiplier podcast, you were helping me on all of those shows very early in the show.
That's it. That's it. So I'm excited to be here, and I love your introduction because I'm really excited to talk about our topic today. I think that the more that people listen and plug in and read and learn and whatever else, watch, whatever else, however else you like to learn, the more that you'll understand. Because there's that Nelson quote that you probably know where I'm going. If you understand what's going on, then you'll know what to do. Right.
Mhm.
And I love that so much because I've learned that personally. The more that I understand what's going on, the easier it is to know actually what to do. Right. And that makes it really unique. And so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, no good. Hey, and before we kick off the show, actually, Jonah and I did a podcast episode together that, we touched on the topic of qualified accounts, but we did not touch on a topic that we're going to be getting into here today. So I'm going to be posting this up in the comments, y'all. You can go back and watch this podcast episode on YouTube that Jonah and I did talking about qualified accounts. That was back in February of this year when we were doing our Idaho trip, which
Yep.
speaking of Jonah, we got to start planning in Idaho. February's coming up.
You know it is, and you know I'm there. I'm in there. I think this will be the fifth year in a row for me, which is
Wow.
pretty cool. But anyway, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Hannah, I think we got some comments. If you want to throw them up, right?
Absolutely. Yes. No. Good morning, Dave. Actually, Dave, we missed each other when we were in Orlando. I know you and I both had some crazy weekends happening, but it's good to see you on this morning. You're always here. And a new name that I haven't seen common in a while, Mrs. Mary. Good morning, Mary. And then Tess, good morning to you as well. Hey, yeah, I got this headband at Universal Studios. I go to Halloween Horror Nights like every year, but this year I just decided not to go. So that's where this bad boy came from.
I love it. I love it.
Would you like to take over and kind of
Sure.
start in your process? Because you've been going down a whole new journey, right? Where you're saying, hey, people who have 401ks, IRAs, have you ever heard about annuities, maybe
Yep.
using that money to fund annuities? So I'll have you take it over from here, and I'll chime in when I have comments.
I love it. Okay, so for all of those who are watching and listening, let me go back and just kind of walk you through where this came from for me. So you guys know, if you've been paying attention to Hannah or our channel, you know that we love whole life insurance. We love it. We love doing the infinite banking concept through whole life insurance. But here's the thing, because we've plug into that sort of information and we watch the videos and we go to the conferences and we read the books, I started to realize that there was a lot of mention of annuities. And I, being a younger person, didn't really know what they were. I don't really know anyone that has them. Like, these things are private, right? I mean, very similar to whole life insurance. So if you don't specifically ask somebody, do you know what this is and do you have it? It's not like they really volunteer the information, if that makes sense, right? So I was sitting at a conference about 2 years ago and someone said to me, you really need to look into annuities. And I'm thinking, okay, sure. And they said, no, you really need to look into them. And this is the statement that got me. He said, actually, in life, there are only 5 ways to guarantee lifetime income. Now be clear. He said there's plenty of ways to make income. There's plenty of ways to have lots of income, plenty of ways to have high income, but there's only 5 ways to guarantee lifetime income, and all 5 are annuities. And that stuck with me because I thought to myself, okay, I need to learn more about this. And so I started digging in. So Hannah, I thought we could do something kind of fun. So here's what I'm thinking. To make it easy, here's what I want to do. I actually want to pull up the internet, just the internet. I'll share my screen in a second.
Okay.
And here's what I want to do. I kind of want you to pick any insurance company you want, literally any insurance company you want. And I'm going to go to their website and read the blurb, the 1 sentence or 2 sentence that they say about annuities. Okay. Because I think that for me, like, cemented it. It was really, really cool when I started to do that and realize, okay, so I'm going to pull up the internet here on my other screen, and
it don't matter any insurance company that we have here in the country.
any insurance company that's going to sell an annuity. So if they're going to do like car insurance only or something, let's skip those, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
But any insurance company. Okay. So let me share my screen. I'm going to try to not create this infinite loop. You know how that happens sometimes?
Yeah.
Where you share the screen and it's like, you shouldn't have done that. Now you got 16 of them going, right? Okay, I think I got it. And let me come back over to you.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to share the screen. Okay, I think I've got it. Okay, first, Hannah, give me any insurance company. I'm going to type them in here. Any insurance company you want.
Let's say, like a big one, State Farm. State Farm sell annuities?
Sure, let's check it out. All right, just going to type in State Farm. I'm going to go to their website. First, let's figure out if they sell. Oh, this is the quote website. Hold on, we got to get out of here. They got so many ads these days. I just want regular State Farm. Here we go. Okay, let's see if they sell annuities. They have insurance, life. It doesn't look like they sell annuities. We
Okay.
need a new company. Let's try a different one.
Let's try. Let's do New York Life.
All right, I love it. So look at this. Look how many clicks to get to annuities and read their blurb. Okay, so we're getting to their website, New York Life. My goodness, they want it's like the sponsored post. They're trying to get me to sign up. Okay, here we go. What we offer: retirement annuities.
Okay.
Okay, let's click on this one and let's read it. What does that say to you, Hannah?
Guaranteed income now with immediate income annuities.
Our immediate income annuities can convert your savings now into a guaranteed income stream that acts like a pension. Your agent will work closely with you to create an immediate income annuity that starts paying soon and lasts for as long as you need. What does that sound like to you? I'm like, whoa, that's what that person told me. Guaranteed income. I know a lot of people in retirement who would really appreciate that. And so I started to dig in if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. Let's do another one. Let's make sure it's not just New York Life. Who we got?
Let's do that big one. Northwestern Mutual.
I love it. Northwesternmutual.com. Okay, let's find what they help with. Insurance, income annuities. There it goes. Annuities. All right. What does that say to you, Hannah?
Get guaranteed income for life.
Isn't this so easy?
Yeah.
If you understand what's going on, you'll know what to do. Okay. So the point of me doing that and having a little bit of fun was because I started to realize, hold on a second. When we help people with the infinite banking concept with whole life insurance, we're trying to generate income for them, growing income, cash flowing income for their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Annuities fit right into that bucket. Annuities fit immediately into the same methodology, the same thought process, the same end result. They do. What I did not realize that. Does that make sense? I need to go do my homework and learn. And so that's what I've been doing. So it's been about 2 years for me that I've really been diving into, well, how do these annuities work? Because the blurb on the website is making it real simple. Guaranteed income for life. I'm like, I know people who need that. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've been diving into. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, and can I share too, Jonah?
Yeah.
Actually, a big thing for me, just coming from being second generation within infinite banking, never having a 401k qualified account, my mindset about it was, well, why would I even be interested in an annuity? Because isn't just like how I opened up today, money is nothing more than a means of exchange. So if I'm going to put money inside of these accounts, I'm essentially locking up my money. And so I want you to kind of hit on that point that some people could be confused about too.
Yeah. So I think the answer to that question, Hannah, is that there is a box. There's a box that annuities need to fit into. So here's what I mean. Hannah, you're in your 20s. I probably would not tell you to go get an annuity. Here's what I mean by that. Annuities start because you give the insurance company a lump sum of money, and then they pay you a monthly check, a quarterly check, an annual check for the rest of your life. But here's the deal. I think that right now, with how old you are and the longevity and your business prowess, that you've got plenty of time that you can take that money and you can go earn more. You can go use it. You can go build. And so, again, that speaks exactly to the infinite banking concept, which is what we help people do. But there are certain people, age and health and time, where it makes a whole lot of sense to do an annuity. I'll give you an example. I chatted with a young lady just earlier this week. She is 58. Her husband is 63. And when they got on my telephone, here's what they said to me. They said, listen, we've seen your information. We need to talk to you because we really want to retire in 3 to 5 years. And I said, I love your goal. That's amazing. Tell me about what you've done up to this point. And they had done a few things. They said, well, my husband gets some Social Security because he's of age. We are still working. We have a house that we can sell because we'll downsize. That should net us, $100,000 or so. And really, we've got $250,000 in a 401k. That's where our money is. And so we just kind of had to walk through, okay, well, with your current plan, do you think that you'll be able to pull that off to retire? And they said, well, we called the folks over at Voya and they told us that they recommend us taking 4% out of that 401k at 250 grand. And that's only 10,000 bucks a year. And I said, yep, that's the 4% rule. I've heard of that 100 times. Does 10,000 bucks a year help you? Is that going to let you guys do your goal? And they were like, not even close. 10,000 bucks a year. We need more like 10,000 bucks a month, right? Does that make sense? And I said, yeah, I totally get it. And I said, well, what if you pull the whole thing out? And, well, there's taxes and 250 is only going to last us like 2 or 3 or 4 years at max. Like we're not going to make it. And so here's what I asked them. I said, well, it sounds to me like what you've been doing up to this point is playing more of a lump sum accumulation game. And I think maybe it might be time to consider a cash flow game. And I said, listen, if we looked into putting your 250 from the 401k into an annuity, it would kick out X amount. And I think their amount was somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 bucks. I just don't remember, every single month for the rest of your life. I said, then we've got the Social Security that you're already using. Then we're selling the house. Does that make sense? We put it all in a cash flow game.
Yes.
And after an hour's worth of a conversation, we could determine that we could get you cash flow of around $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 every month, with almost half of it being guaranteed.
Yeah.
You get it. And I said, is that what you want? Or you want to keep doing the form? Like, you just kind of tell me. And they were like, we didn't know. We just didn't know. And I was like, I didn't know either. So I'm not faulting you, but now you do know. So what do you want to do? And they're like, we literally have no retirement goal if we continue doing what we're doing. All we have is we have to switch the game that we're playing, right? This particular family, this is fun. This particular family also said, Hannah, they said that they just started contributing to a Roth IRA this year. So again, she's 58, he's 63. They just started putting in money this year. And so I asked them, I said, oh, do you know the annual contribution limits? Oh, we didn't realize there was any. Well, yeah, they're 7,000 bucks, but you guys are of age, so you guys can actually do 8,000 bucks. And I said,
it's only 1,000 more. I didn't know that.
It's only 1,000 more if you're over like 55 or something. And so I said, if you wouldn't mind, can we do a little bit of math? And I said, now granted, you're going to have to give me some grace, and you guys who are watching, give me a little bit of grace because they move the limits every year, right? So like in 2026, instead of 8,000, these people who are of age could have done like 8,500, right? So it's going to increase a little. But I said, let's do some math. You want to retire in 5 years. You max out that Roth IRA for 5 years. That's 8,000 times 5, 40 grand. I said, how do we do? Does that help? Did that get any better in your situation? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, no, we didn't get a return. What if you get the most amazing return a Roth IRA has ever seen and you double the money? 80 grand. How do we do? Is that any better? And they were like, that's 1 year. That's 1 year basically of retirement. And I said, exactly. What if we took that $8,000 that you were going to put in that Roth IRA that you just started and we did something that produced cash flow?
Yeah.
Like the infinite banking concept, like putting it into an annuity. Maybe we buy an annuity that is deferred. We're not going to turn on the check for 5 years. And so for the next 5 years, you can put money into it, which builds your check amount. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I said, and then it's guaranteed, and you want to use this money for retirement. So isn't that a little bit of a better plan? You can get documentation from an insurance company that says, we will guarantee this check every single month. And I said, you guys tell me which one sounds better. What do you want to do? We can max out the 401k if you want. It's $23,000 this year, 24,000 because you guys are of age. It's an extra $1,000 or 25 or something, right? We can totally do it, but let's do the math. Does that give you what you want? Yeah. Are you certain it will be there? Are you certain it won't go down, right? And they were just like, oh my goodness, we just didn't know. And I was like, so many people don't. But now that you do know, you'll know what to do. It's much easier.
In 2 big points, because actually I just went back and I reread Garrett Gunderson's book, What Would the Rockefellers Do? And he talks a lot about the differences between cash accumulation versus cash flow. And once you get that, it's just like, bing, all the light bulbs go off, because that's what I want. I don't really want to just accumulate my cash and live off of this bucket of money that's accumulating. And I always say this too. I mean, obviously we got to have some dollars accumulated somewhere, but I don't want to put all of my eggs eggs in one basket and just hope on this accumulation of the funds. What I really, really want is I want the cash flow that's coming into me every single month. And that's the money that I'm going to start living off of. And then also you had me to start thinking about, we got to work backwards. Okay, if my goal, it's almost like a big treasure map, right? Okay,
Yep.
if I'm trying to get to X marks the spot, I have to work backwards to try and figure out how I'm going to get there.
That's
And not a lot
exactly
of
it.
people plan it out that way, right? They kind of just say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm comfortable with contributing. And I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping
Yep.
that this is going to get me to my goal.
That's it. I think that there's a very popular saying out there. It came from a book. It says, begin with the end in mind. And
Hmm.
people do not realize that, especially in the finance game, you really should work backward. You absolutely should work backward. If I want to be done working at 50 years old, then that means I need X amount. If you're playing a lump sum game, I don't recommend you play a lump sum game. Or let me say it like this, Hannah. Think this through. Okay, so I'm 33. Let's pretend that I am going to retire at 60 and I want to be done working and I'm going to play a lump sum game, which is what the average American plays, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so it costs my family about $5,000 every single month to live. So that means 60 grand a year is what it costs my family to live. If I want to retire at 50 years old because of inflation, my kids will be out of the house, blah, blah, blah. If it's okay for all those watching, don't hate me. I'm going to keep the number at $5,000 a month, 60 grand a year. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. If I think I'm going to be retired from age 60 to age 85, which is an average life expectancy for African-American male, right? This is what it is. Okay, so I need 60 grand for 25 years. So my lump sum, if I'm playing a lump sum game, is I need to get to a lump sum of 1.5 million. That's 60 grand times 25. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Following.
Hannah, do you have any idea what the average 401k balance is? The median 401k balance is? How much is actually in people's 401ks?
I could take a guess, just with talking with people all day long. Let's say average is maybe 200, 250.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now it depends on your age because like Gen Zers have a little bit more than Gen Xers who have more than millennials who have, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the median 401k balance is literally $189,000. So this is what I mean when I say that. People who are playing a lump sum game are not even getting close to the lump sum that they need. Like you said, Hannah, they're crossing their fingers and they're going, oh no, I'll never think about it. I'll get there one day. Now, think about this, Hannah. How easy is it? Which one would you rather shoot for? Let's shoot for, Hannah, me and you got to work hard and we need to invest our way, 401ks, save our way, whatever we want to do, to 1.5 million. Or let's work hard and go for 10 grand every single month. 1.5 million, as big as we can get it, or 10 grand every month. Which number is easier to get to?
10 grand every month, I feel
10
like,
grand.
right? Yeah.
10 grand is literally, I don't know how to do the math well, right? But it's like a tenth of what you need over there. Just go for that. And going for that, you guys know who are paying attention, who are watching this morning, we've got so many different passive income ideas, different ways you can do things, people you can plug into, systems you can plug into. It's so much easier. And I didn't realize that how easy it was. Like, you're playing the wrong game.
Yeah.
Go for a 10 grand a month game. Play that game and you'll get there quicker. It's way faster.
And you're bringing up a good point because this is perfect segue into a quick commercial break about the Money Game Live event coming up. Okay, because y'all, we just got done with the Denver Mastermind event. Jonah, you were there. You were speaking on stage. It was a great time. And, Money Game Live is like a branch off of this event because, okay, if I understand my policies, I understand where I'm keeping my money stored at, now what do I do from here? How do I really create that cash flow? What I like to say, how do I know or what I like to go invest in? Because I always say invest in the things that you like, know, and understand. And so Money Game Live is just me bringing my experts out, the people in the oil and gas industry, private lending, residential assisted living, stock options trading. It don't matter what it is, but this is the event to figure out, okay, what do I like within this alternative investing world? So thank you for saying that.
I love it. Hey, Dave's got a good question I want to answer if you want to throw it on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, actually, on a lot of these insurance company websites, now we've got some insurance companies that we prefer, and we can maybe even give you links. But on most insurance companies' websites, there's like a link somewhere where it'll give you lots of calculators. It'll literally give you like 20 different calculators. I would suggest you use them for those of you who are paying attention. So, like for instance, I mentioned to you earlier, hey, if I retire at 60, I think I'll live to about 85 because that's the average life expectancy. Well, actually,
Mm-hmm.
Hannah, it's because most of these insurance companies have a life expectancy calculator, and I'm a nerd, and I did them all. And then I averaged it. And I
Yeah.
went, okay, based on my lifestyle and what I'm doing, literally, some of these websites will literally ask you how often you wear your seatbelt when you get in a car, like to predict your life expectancy. But I
Mm-hmm.
averaged it, and like, hey, I'm sitting here in front of you today saying, no, I could go tomorrow. Of course, anyone can. But if everything plays out the way that I operate my lifestyle, the things that I eat and drink and do and whatever, I think I'll make it at 85.
Yeah.
So if I think I make it to 85, let me plan for it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
Now I know, and now I can plan for it, which I
Well,
think is so cool.
and even to that point of the guaranteed income stream that comes from annuities, what if I do live past the age 85? What if I go the traditional route of accumulating 1.5 million and then I wake up on my 86th birthday? What's going to happen now, right? I
Exactly.
know a lot of people, my grandpa being one of them, who they're totally just outliving their money because their retirement accounts, their brokerage accounts are not performing how they were hoping and thinking it was going to perform.
Yeah.
So,
Here,
hey, where?
here's one that got me,
Mhm,
Hannah. Think about this. So let's pretend that you did accumulate $1 million, which is literally 5 times more than the average American ever gets in these accounts.
mhm.
AKA, if you have already done it or already have more, congratulations. But if you are on your path, like you need to know that the median number here is literally less than 200,000. But let's say you get there, 1.5, 2 million, you got there. What people forget sometimes is now you got there. You're 60 years old, you want to retire, whatever age it happens to be, and you start pulling money, but the rest of the money is still invested in the market. So what if
What's
you
going to happen?
pull 100 and then you get your bad years? Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
yeah.
You won't make it. There's so many factors against you
That
if you
you
play that
can't
game.
control.
Right. There's so many factors against you. I don't recommend it. So, okay, Hannah, let's do a couple more websites, shall we? It's fun, isn't it? Just kind of
Real
looking.
Real quick, two little things I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Number one, I remember this specifically because I remember us having the other office. So we used to have a brick and mortar office at the Money Multiplier, but COVID time, and then nobody started to show up at the office. So we said, okay, everyone's just working from home anyway. So we got rid of the office. But I remember sitting there in the office one day, and a family called me up, and they've been a family that's been around for a while. Jonah, they were in Denver as well.
Okay.
Tina and Mike, what we'll
Oh
call
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So she called me one year, like it was like March or April of 2020. And she's like, Hannah, and we just met like in 2018, 2019. And she's like, I should have listened to you because of what's going on within the economy, the markets, and the world right now. My
Yep.
401k just totally tanked over $100,000.
That's
And what
crazy.
Jonah is saying is, what if she was going to retire in that year? You're kind of SOL, right? So I just want people just to really start thinking about this and stop putting it on the back burner, is my encouragement. But before we get away from Dave's question, do you have a calculator resource that he could go to?
Yeah, let me see if I can find some calculators here. I'm on one of our preferred insurance companies' websites. I was gonna here since you're showing it, I was gonna read just the annuity thing that they say, right?
Mhm.
You deserve an retirement and to enjoy a retirement lifestyle of your choosing. With an income payment option you select, you can help guide your retirement in the right direction. Do you want guaranteed income with lifetime payout options?
Mhm.
I'm like, it's right there. But anyway, let's search for a calculator, right? Calculator. Let's see what they've got. Will your retirement income last as long as you do? They look like they got a calculator here. It doesn't look like they had like a section for calculators. A lot of insurance companies do, so just look around. I'll go to a different preferred insurance carrier here. I was going to read their annuity section. Immediate annuities are designed to convert a portion of your retirement savings into a guaranteed income stream, either for a specified number of years or, my favorite, the rest of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can also do income for you and your spouse. You can go rest of your life for both parties. So that way, when you pass away, you don't have to worry about it. Now, please understand that I'm saying annuities have a spot. I'm not saying annuities replace your life insurance. I'm not saying annuities replace your working years and you generating more money and creating passive income. I'm not saying that. But there is a spot absolutely for annuities inside of your financial plan. And in fact, there's an article that I'll get to shortly where Ernst & Young literally says 30% of your wealth when you hit retirement should go into annuity immediately.
Oh, wow. Okay.
30% of your wealth should be in an annuity, right? Okay, but first let me search for a calculator here. Calculator. Look at this. All sorts of calculators. And the whole calculators page, it looks like. Let's see. Oh, that didn't go anywhere. Let's try this. Retirement income calculator. There we go. All sorts of calculators that they'll give you. So again, if you go to an insurance company's website and you just type in calculator, a lot of times you'll get calculators that you can use to calculate all sorts of stuff. So it's a little easier than like Googling it and trying to figure out which calculator actually works and whatnot. Go to an insurance company site and just use them for free. Yep.
Good. No, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, so how we got on this conversation is because you've been helping, just like in your case study in that example that you mentioned, there's people who have money sitting in a 401k and IRA. So can that money be transferred over tax-free, dollar for dollar? How does that process look like? Can you talk to us about that?
I can, yeah. Okay, so here's the real kind of down-to-earth version. If your money is sitting in a government-sponsored or qualified plan, meaning the government knows you have it, you are not getting out of taxes. Okay, so even if we roll it to an annuity, and that annuity will now give you lifetime checks, maybe for you and your spouse, that's taxable income then.
Okay.
Because that's where the money came from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you've got money sitting in like a Roth IRA, because that's where you put all your money, and now you're realizing, I don't really want it there either. I don't have any control, and you want to move that to an annuity. There's something called first in, last out. But basically put, if you already paid the taxes, you don't have to repay them. That's not how anything works, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to, it just depends on if you're going to do an immediate annuity or you're going to defer the checks from the annuity. If you defer and you're going to have now growth from the insurance company, then you're going to have to pay taxes. But on all the money you've already paid taxes on, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. So it just really depends on your situation. So another lady just this last week, she is 78 years old. So get this, Hannah. She inherited a IRA, a traditional IRA from her brother. She just got it, 78 years old. She also got a house from her brother. But her brother did not do any estate planning. So the house is sitting in escrow.
Yeah.
So she's saying, she was calling me and she's kind of like complaining because she was saying, hey, I actually need money to pay the escrow lawyers. He gave me an inherited IRA and a house, but no money. So I have to take money out of the inherited IRA to pay the escrow lawyers.
Yeah.
But when I take it out of a traditional IRA, I now owe the taxes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she's calling me saying this. Okay, get this. When you inherit money from something like an IRA, the government, the IRS, gives you 10 years to take every single dollar out, or they will tax you at 50%. Correct. I said, do you know that? She said, I totally know that. I'm paying taxes on it now. I have to get it out in 10. Does this make sense? She's like, this is not good. So she's calling me because she's going, I'm 78. I've actually done really well. I'm getting Social Security and I have 3 rental properties. I'm about to turn my brother's house into a rental property once I get past the escrow, but I'm now realizing I don't carry life insurance and there's no way I'm going to pass and give my 50-year-old son, who I live with, 4 houses and no money. I'm not going to do it to him because it just got done to me.
Yeah.
And she called. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so what we did for her, again, is a annuity. But instead of lifetime income, we did 10 years because if she
Mhm.
doesn't get all the money out, the IRS is going to come get her. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? But I
Yeah.
said, let's make it easy for you. Let's give you a check. You know what the check is, which also means we now know what your income tax liability is.
Yeah.
And so now we can plan for it. You don't have to be like, what do I do and how do I do it? Does that make sense? And she
Mhm.
was like, oh, let's totally do it. That sort of thing. So another example that just happened. I think there's a box for them, but they've totally got their place. Absolutely. These are guaranteed products.
And ages, okay?
Yeah.
How, obviously, like, as you were kind of saying, me being 26, nah, probably not a good idea right now for you. Well,
Yeah.
what are kind of like the median, like, age ranges that you're seeing people do this and start them?
Yeah. So I think a sweet spot for an annuity is probably going to be 50 to 70, sweet spot. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Because you're
Mhm.
that close to retirement, which normally means you have been doing something over your working careers for retirement. And the most typical thing that people do over their working years for retirement is go for a lump sum. What they
Mhm.
do, which means if you're now paying attention to this and you realize, one, my lump sum is not big enough, which is literally like 80% of Americans. Your lump sum is not big enough. So you're going, my lump sum is not big enough. Or you have a bad year in the market and you log in for the first time in a year and you go, I lost 16 grand today, this year. And you
Yeah.
realize, this is not good. I need to get out of here. You want an annuity, whether we start
Mhm.
it right away, depending on your age, or whether we defer it. That's actually what you want. You want guaranteed lifetime income. You were shooting for this lump sum. So at a certain age, you could stop working and have money. Well,
Mhm.
that's what an annuity solves.
Do
We
you
can literally turn it on. So at this age, you have money and you'll always have money. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you like, just like within the infinite banking space and whole life policies, do you have to qualify for
Oh,
an
this is so
annuity?
fun. So this is so fun. You ready for this? Hannah,
Uh,
you don't even have to qualify for annuities. No health check, nothing. The annuity can literally start. So it is, what day is it? October 30th or
mhm.
29th or something?
30th, yeah.
If you wanted an annuity and you wanted to turn it on immediately, we could get your annuity approved today and the check could show up November 1st. You
Wow.
don't even have to do any health exams for annuities.
Mhm.
You're saying, hey, insurance company, I want the guaranteed check. Here's the money that I'm going to give you for the guaranteed check. Done. What they do for annuities is called suitability. Is this actually something that you should have? That's what they
Yeah.
do. And
Yeah.
basically, it's easy. Like, well, yeah, because I want the money. And they're like, good. You know,
And, a question that we get a lot within like the infinite banking space, well, is there a minimum? Like, do I have to have a minimum lump sum for this even to be worthwhile? Or again, is it just dependent on everybody's different financial positions?
yeah, I think that different companies have different minimums, but the minimum is pretty low. It's like 5 grand. But
Mm.
again, if you're going to do 5 grand, I'm probably not going to tell you to do an annuity. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
depending on your age, or you might, Hannah, if someone really wanted to, and they're 20, sure, let's do an annuity. But we're going to defer the annuity to not turn on that check until you're literally 50 years old.
Yeah.
So now we've got 30 years to contribute to it. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? And you
Yeah.
can put in your $100 or your $1,000 or your 10,000, but whatever you want to put in. But does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
I think there's a sweet spot, right? Because if that 20-year-old calls me, I'm going to go, no, no, not annuities. Let's do infinite banking. Let's build your wealth,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I think there's a sweet spot. But for a lot of people, annuities make a lot of sense. I'll even tell you like my family story. Okay, so my parents are military, and they just got stationed in Germany in July.
Uh-huh.
So for June and May, they were hanging out at my house, right? Because
Mhm.
they sold their house in Alabama. They packed all their stuff. I got a little sister who's going to college, so everyone's just hanging out with me because they're literally about to move overseas.
Mhm.
And I asked my dad, I said, you've been in the military since you were 18 years old. You've been contributing to a TSP. That's the thrift savings plan. That's the government's version of the 401k or whatever, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Can we talk about that for a second? He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. I don't log in. I've been literally doing it since I was 18. I literally don't check the thing, right? I'm like, cool, let's talk about it. Let's log in, see if we can get in. He says, actually, no, I did about 2 years ago. I was listening to you, actually, Jonah. And so I took my contributions to zero. I haven't put anything in for 2 years, but this is the last 30 or 40 years of money in there. Does that make sense? So we
Yeah.
log in right there at my dining room table, and you know how they have that like summary, like you log in, they give you like a summary of your accounts. And literally we clicked on like annual history or, yearly history, and he lost 16 grand in 2025.
Which is
And I was like,
crazy.
did you know that? Well, no, I don't log in. And I stopped contributing a couple years ago after listening to you. Oh, okay. Is that cool with you? No, actually, that's not okay. We were going to use this money for retirement. I said, okay, let's just not play a lump sum game. Let's play a cash flow game. Tell me about your pension. He's been in the military forever. Does that make sense? Tell me
Yeah.
about your pension. Tell me about Social Security. Tell me about disability, because there's some things he might get disability. Let's do the math on social. Let's do the math. And I said, okay, what number, if we were going for cash flow, makes you comfortable? Well, yeah, probably like 10, 11, 12, 13 every single month, right? He was already at 7 or 8 or 9 because of all the other things he had. I said, we can take all the money out of your TSP, put it in an annuity that we defer, that won't start for a year because we need to get to 59 and a half and all the requirements on the government. And that will literally spit out $2.5, $3,500, which puts you at 13 every single month, guaranteed.
Yes. Yep.
And we don't have to worry about losing 16 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Why not do that?
It's
He was like,
powerful.
oh my gosh, I would much rather have that because now I know.
Mm-hmm.
And if I know, I can do, my life is way better. Like now I know. And I said, and it's my dad, right? So I said, well, you want the one for you and mom. So just in case you go early, mom still gets the money, right? And they've already got life insurance. They already got their infinite banking policy. And I said, but this money, we need to put it in an annuity. It was earmarked for retirement. He's 1 year away from being able to take it out without penalty. I said, it's earmarked for that. Let's keep it for that, but let's make sure you get it for life and you stop having to worry about market risk and fluctuation and up and down and all that stuff. That makes sense?
Yeah. Guaranteed. I
Guaranteed.
think, honestly, what I should have titled this whole episode is Guaranteed.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed stamp.
Right? I think one of the coolest things, Hannah, I kid you not, is I did like personally what we did early in the episode. I just started typing in insurance companies and reading their little blurb. And it was like guaranteed, 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 guaranteed. And I was like, when I go to like news articles and I type in retirement, 401k, 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 and I'm like, what? This is not adding up. You can go to any reputable insurance company's website, click like 2 times, and it's like, we'll give you guaranteed money for your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why are the American people have been bamboozled, tricked into thinking that they should do other things with investment risk instead of just going for guaranteed cash flow.
So straight up, I was actually asking my brother about this, okay? Because, right, my brother is a pilot for NetJets.
Yep.
And little side note here, speaking of, somebody who is actually a pilot at NetJets who tunes into my podcast show reached out to Zach through his work email, started talking about infinite banking because he's like, hey, I listened to your sister's podcast. I didn't know that we were pilots here at the same company.
I love
So
it.
that was kind of fun. But NetJets has a great 401k, right? Great 401k compared
Yep.
to other people and other corporations that are out there.
Yep.
And so I was asking Zach about his 401k because when the pilots are sitting there in the cockpit, I mean, what do they got to do just besides talking for hours and hours, right?
Yep.
And so a lot of these people are way older than my brother because Zach's only 24, and they're kind of saying, Zach, you're stupid for not putting money inside of this 401k. But he does have to put some money into it. So it's a little unique where Zach has a base salary and then he's got this other incentive to fly kind of pay, right?
Yep.
So with his base salary, he doesn't have to contribute anything into the 401k, 0%, but his flight duty, he has to put at least 33% of his flight duty pay into the 401k. Like he's required to do so. And if you kind of understand why he's required to do so, it's because that company, that corporation, they can take, I want to say I'm saying this correctly, but deductions within the business because their employees are contributing to these types of accounts. So when you start to really peel back the onion and understand why it's set up in this way, you start to understand, hey, if I know what's going on, I know what to do now.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at the history, right? We've all heard that in school. History repeats itself. Go back and look at if you go back and look at the history, first off, it's not that far back. 1978 is the introduction of 401ks. But if you go back and look at the history, they were introduced so corporations could get a tax break by offering this thing. Reminder. So that means my mom, when she was born, my dad, my grandparents, no 401k. They were getting pensions. My grandfather is still alive. He has a pension. What is a pension? An annuity. That's what
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
guaranteed income from your company for life, right? That's
Mhm.
what it is. It's
Yep.
an annuity. But when the 401k was introduced, they just introduced it so that the employer could get the tax benefit if they offered it. And
Hmm.
all of a sudden, now that the employers were like, well, of course I want a tax break. I've got 100 employees or 1,000 employees. Of course I want a tax break. So I'll offer this plan the government just made up, right? And now that the employees opt into it, I get a tax break. So yes, I'm going to do it. Oh, and this we can deem this as a retirement plan, so I don't have to offer a pension. Perfect. I'm out.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
all of a sudden, the American people are like 401ks and Roth IRAs is the typical way to retire. First off, 401ks and Roth IRAs are the typical way to retire, but not the traditional way. This stuff is brand new.
Yeah.
1978 is the 401k. 1998 is your Roth IRA. Hannah, you're older than that one, right?
No,
Barely.
99, my man,
Oh my
99.
goodness. Oh my
Hey,
goodness. That's what
hey,
it is.
and I'm gonna go back to I'm putting that YouTube link in the comments where
Okay.
we went through some articles on our past podcast episode. Everyone needs to tune into that. Jonah gets deeper into there as well. And real quick, I'm sorry that I cut you off here too,
Okay.
but there's some people that I think should get in contact with you. We have I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, my man, but good morning. First policy was funded. Next up is policy for the wife. 401k and IRA has been stagnant, lazy cash, high interest rate. So learning how it can leverage and grow these investments. So, I mean, if this is speaking to you, reach out to Jonah. So Jonah at themoneymultiplier.com. He can help y'all on this. He
Yep.
is my annuity expert here at the Money Multiplier. But if this is really speaking to you, reach out to Jonah and he's happy to have a conversation.
I sure am. Hey, I found an article. You want to throw this article up? I got
Mhm.
2 sentences I want to read. Okay, this is an article from a money magazine. The retirement income plan that leads to more freedom. Take a look at this. In retirement, people choose to have blended income. Some people choose a combination of investments like 401ks and fixed annuities, which provide a guaranteed income stream in retirement. Right?
Hey,
In the article.
they
Go
said
ahead.
investments 401k. You know what a
I
lot of
love
people think their 401k is? They think it's
the
a safe
savings. I
place.
hate
Yeah.
Hannah. That is my number one pet peeve. How are you saving for retirement? Oh, I'm using a 401k. That's not saving. What savings vehicle, Hannah, do you know that can lose 16 grand in a year and you didn't touch it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not saving. That's investing, right? Okay. Then it's got another thing down here. Um, Fixed annuities offer guaranteed income when a worker retires, either a monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual payment for the rest of the contract holder's life. In other words, annuities are essentially like a regular paycheck in retirement that you can collect alongside whatever else you got going on. That's all that means,
Yeah.
right? Does that make it's here's the thing that I needed to realize, Hannah. Annuities are so easy. I
Mhm.
didn't know this. Like I just thought, does that make sense? Like I heard annuities, I'm like, yeah, I heard of that, but I don't really know what it is, and kept moving.
Mhm.
They are
Yep.
so simple, right? I heard our favorite, one of our money mentors, right? America's number one money mentor. What does he call himself? I forget what he calls himself, but Chris, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard Chris say recently that when I pass away, Chris is saying this, when I pass away, my death benefit for my infinite banking policies are going in a trust. And there's language in my trust documents that immediately purchases an annuity because I want my spouse to have guaranteed income if I'm gone. I
Yeah.
don't want her having to work. So instead of just giving her a lump sum, $1,000,000, $2,000,000, $10,000,000, I'm going to have it by an annuity. And so it gives her, making up a number, 10 grand every month for the
Mm.
rest of her life. And we'll
Mhm.
continue doing that with the language in the trust. So that way my daughter gets it and her kids get it. And we'll always buy annuities. That way we can use the leftover money, the life insurance money, whatever, to do philanthropy and to do this, but they don't have to worry about working.
Yeah.
And so it's a mixture of two insurance company guaranteed products, whole
Yeah.
life insurance and an annuity. And when I
Yeah.
heard him say that, I was like, oh, I love that. Because think about this, Hannah, you know, I'm married and I've got 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
If I pass away right now, my family does get a big death benefit. But do I really want my wife getting 10 million bucks with 3 small kids?
Yeah. Nah. It's
Probably.
sticky, right?
It's
Yeah.
yeah, probably. I want her to have the money. I want her to always have enough money. But what do I actually want her to get? I actually want her to get like 20 grand check every month.
Yes.
Maybe like give her 100 grand, right? So she got a cushion. But then I want her to get like 20 grand every month for life. And I want my son to get it, and I want my daughter to get it, and I want my other son to get. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And so set it up that way then.
It ain't that hard.
Yeah, I'm like, then set it up that way. Does that make sense?
But people just don't know because, okay, man, we haven't discussed this since I saw you this month, but even taxes. Okay, so my people know I'm on a big journey right now in figuring out the tax game. And once you just start to explore it, you start to realize, oh my gosh, this stuff is not as complicated as what people are making it seem to be, or the government's making it seem to be.
Yep.
And so I had this big epiphany, and I had the same epiphany with the annuities, just like how I did with the taxes, and how we say it with infinite banking all the time, that nobody's going to care more about your money and your financial position than what you do. So you got to understand and start taking that control back for yourself. And even just spending like 3 hours a week learning new things, new ideas, it's just going to be better for you in the long run. So I've been having that same challenges within my own mind, especially when it comes to the tax game too.
I love it. To Hannah, if you want a recommendation, I don't know if you want to do it or not, but here's what I did with taxes. I'm in the same boat, right? We get these tax bills and I don't like paying them. So here's what I did.
No.
I took all of my tax documents for the last 2 years and I put them into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And then I said, tell me what's happening, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, tell me about my deductions. Tell me about my credits. Tell me. And it started walking me through it, right? And then I started asking questions. Okay, about this thing, tell me this. About this thing, tell me this. You ready for this? So I recently went and bought a new car. The reason I bought this
What'd you buy?
car,
What'd you buy?
I bought another Tesla because I've been built for Tesla my whole life. I need the car to drive for me. Okay, I don't want to do it. Okay, but anyway, I recently bought a new car, and the reason I bought the car was because of a 2-day, 5-hour conversation with ChatGPT. That's why I bought it, because ChatGPT said, you buy this car, you take accelerated depreciation on this car, and your tax liability literally drops this year to like $5 grand. And I was like, done. Are you kidding me? I'll take a new car, and I don't want to have to pay the tax bill.
Yeah.
I said, done. I'll literally do it. Perfect.
And here's what I've been learning. If you understand the tax code, this is a big epiphany, and I'm probably going to lose some followers as I say this, but if you understand the tax code, you'll understand what the government wants you, the American tax-paying person, to do. And legally not paying taxes is like the most patriotic thing that you could ever do, because you're literally following what the government wants us to do. And that's why they're giving us all of these tax breaks, because you're following, again, what they want you to do. Last thing I'll say on that, because I'm firing my other tax person. I just hired a new one. Okay. So this is the second person I had to fire for taxes. So number 3, hopefully number 3's a charm, right? But he's telling me that, Hannah, if your other tax people weren't so lazy and didn't change you to an S corporation to be taxed on the S corp status, you could have saved $50,000 just last year. And I literally had to leave the call and go vomit. I'm just kidding. but they're not going to care more about it than what I do. And so that's all I'm saying is that even when it comes to your retirement accounts, annuities, taxes, how you're making your money, you got to be in total ownership and control, because again, nobody's going to care more about it than what you do.
I totally agree. I heard somebody say this about taxes once, Hannah. They said, when you look at the tax code is about 12 pages. But the exemptions to the tax code are 12,000.
Yes.
Each year, Congress gets together and they incentivize something for the American people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that thing that they incentivize, you don't have to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally what you just said. And so like this last couple years, right? There's been, you guys know, it's been a big thing. I don't know if you did it or didn't do it, but it's been a big thing. This EV tax credit. Well,
Mm-hmm.
why'd they do it? They want people to buy EVs,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, in the last couple years, we've had all of this pipeline issues in Alaska and oil from the, right? And then they incentivize EVs. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you might take a stance and say that, well, they incentivize EVs because they're going to come get us on the power grid here shortly. If you think that, that's fine. But they also incentivize solar for the last 5 years.
Yeah. Yep.
What are you doing? Are you paying attention? Because for folks who are paying attention, it's easy. I'm like, well, if I get solar, which was incentivized, and I get an EV, which was incentivized, now solar charges my EV, and I don't have to worry about. Now again, they're going to come tax me with something because I don't have to go to the gas pump and pay, and there was taxes there, so they're going to you right. They're going to do something, but they're incentivizing me each and every year to pay attention. And so if you pay attention, you don't have to pay as much. You don't have to. It's easier. Just pay
Yeah.
attention, right?
And all at the same time now. If you know what's going on, you'll
Then
know
you'll know
what to
what to
do.
do. There you go. I love it, right? So anyway, I really enjoyed being here with you today, Hannah. And so if you guys are watching out there and you're like, I want to talk to somebody about an annuity, I've got a bunch of money sitting in wherever it's sitting, in a 401k, in an IRA. It's not working out for me. I'd rather have guaranteed cash flow. I'd rather make sure that my wife, my spouse, my significant other, whatever, also has guaranteed cash flow. You should use that email address. Just shoot me a message. Hey, Jonah, I saw you. I want to talk about annuities. That's all you got to do. And I'll reach back out to you. We'll schedule something. We'll make it happen.
Good. All right. No, thank you, man. I know you're busy too, so thanks for
Yeah,
popping on this morning.
you're welcome.
So absolutely, I'll reach out to Jonah. You got his contact info there, and he's a wealth of knowledge. I mean, Jonah, you were one of my mentors when I first started getting in this whole arena at 18 years old, you know?
Yep.
So
And look
Jonah
at you now.
Yay! All right. So Jonah at themoneymultiplier.com. And then, hey, y'all. So early bird ticket pricing is still underway here for moneygamelive.com. Come and join us, Tampa, Florida, at the end of February 27th to March 1st. Early bird ticket pricing is going to go away. I believe it's on November 13th. So just big PSA. Okay. So save some dollars if you plan on hanging out with Larry Steinhaus, myself, and all of my amazing people. Jonah and Jadu possibly will be there. We've been chit-chatting offline. I know we got some Idaho trips and different things we're talking about, but Jonah, Jadu may be there as well. So thank you, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I will be back next Thursday, 9:00 Eastern time for another live stream. So reach out to me as well. Here's my email address, Hannah at themoneymultiplier.com. Hannah spelled the same way as forwards and backwards. And then also any of these past episodes, you can always go to the YouTube channels, Hannah Kessler, the Money Multiplier YouTube channel. And even this is being launched as a podcast. So wherever you stream your podcast shows, if you search Money Mornings with Hannah Kessler, you'll see the podcast episodes get dropped down there as well. So thank you, y'all. Jonah, do you have any other last comments before I close it out?
I don't. I think we ended it well with that quote, right? If you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. So
Good.
I take that into your heart, into consideration, and start paying attention.
All right. Well, thanks, y'all. Do well, be good, have fun tomorrow, trick or treating, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay. Behave yourselves. All right. We'll talk next week. Bye, everyone.